So it's Tim Brown, and this I'm super excited to have Lee Gaul and Jarrett Thomas on. And we've got Sales Gun for Hire Lee Gaul. We've got Jarrett Thomas from iPullRank, account executive there. Talk to me about how you guys got to be friends and why you're so tight.
Yeah, man. So Lee, you want me to start it off, man?
Sure, start it off.
Yeah, so I joined iPullRank, about 7 months ago, right around November. So during the process of the interviewing, he was the first person I spoke with. So he was already there, senior account executive, and then we just hit it off immediately. And from there, once the interview happened, he just ended up hitting me on the side of LinkedIn, like, hey, this is everything you need to have to get this job.
Yeah.
We started working together. And from day one, man, we went to a dinner. Our team had a dinner, and I ended up going there even before I started working. And then we just I drove him home, and we just sat outside thinking about how we're going to attack business for about 3 hours, drinking fireball shots, going over prospecting. You would think we knew each other for years, man. We would just drink it, and we were just coming up with ideas, talking about life, and then we just hit it off, man. And then we just said everything we're going to do is attack social. And then he put us up to it. He would just put us up to it and just be, hey, let's record. No topic, no anything. Let's go for it. And then next thing it just exploded. We were getting 10, 15,000 views from videos and text posts and people recognizing us on the street. It was just like crazy.
I love that. Man.
Yeah, that's right.
I do want to throw out the topic that we're going to talk about here too. Just mix it in here at the beginning. We are going to be talking a bit about the big shakeups from the May algorithm update. We're going to be talking about what's happening, what's moving, how to deal with algorithm updates a little bit. And then after the pandemic, which I really like to be really positive about this and pretend it's going to be over in a month or two. It's just my vibe. It's just how I survive. Okay. I'm not a medical doctor, but this is me trying to be optimistic.
Okay, I have to go then. I thought you were a doctor. I was going to try and get
Yes, exactly. We'll have the caveats at the end, but post-pandemic, what's going to change about digital marketing? What's going to change about a lot of things? We might mix in a little about e-com and stuff like that, since e-com is kind of having a moment, and we don't do e-com. So if there's anyone listening to the podcast that needs that, I think iPullRank does e-com SEO, don't they, or no?
We do. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. Full service agency.
Yeah. We don't even touch it. So that's cool. And, sorry, Lee, go in. I just wanted to make sure people know what we're going to be covering as well.
Yeah.
But
of course.
No, that's, look, every Zoom meeting that I've had during this whole pandemic, the first 10 to 15 minutes is talking about the pandemic. It's talking about COVID-19. It's talking about, how you doing, how you hanging in there. Because you can't deny it's not only just what's happening here in New York City, like that's where I'm in Manhattan, Jarrett's in the Bronx, and we're basically in the epicenter. So everyone is talking about it, but it's not just here, it's the whole globe.
Yeah.
So it's not just small talk. It's kind of refreshing to have something in common with everyone.
Yeah,
first of all. Whereas, before you'd be like, hey, somebody gets on the phone with me and they're like, oh, did you see the sports ball game? I'm like, I don't really.
No, I don't know.
So we're out. So that's one thing that we don't have in common. But we all have this in common. And I think it makes a lot of sense to dovetail into the talk about, the new reality in that context, because, I think digital marketing is definitely going to change. Not that it isn't always changing, but it's definitely changing now, because companies that had an existing kind of e-commerce infrastructure, strategy in place, they're doubling down on that, or if they're smart, they're doubling down on that. But if you don't have that capability as the type of business that you have, we're going to witness the mass collapse.
And that's something I get so scared of, because you shouldn't, it's outside of our control, but I don't want to see these businesses go out that way. It's so sad, it's not something that they did. They hustled their ass off, and then they're getting hit. I don't want to see people take 40%, 50% hits. And I have clients, we have clients, and this is such a weird thing, but we have clients right now that are doing well, that are in industries that other people are taking 40% hits. and they're doing well. It feels weird. I feel guilty. You know what I mean? Like, it's strange.
I was gonna say a good example of that, the travel sector. Think of like, Bookit.coms and those type of sites, right? They had a great digital presence, but look at what the world happened around us, right?
That's true. Yes.
Yeah.
It depends
No,
on
exactly.
Yeah. So
There's definitely some people that it just doesn't matter. It's like if you're in travel or restaurants or whatever, there's nothing that you did wrong and there's nothing that you could have done. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and especially restaurants are so dependent on cash flow, and who has about 6 months as far as a restaurant of cash flow to keep operating with all this going on.
Oh yeah, we've had like in a 2-block radius from my apartment, we've had like 5 businesses go down already that I know of. And those are just the ones that like made announcements.
It's a lagging indicator. New York is being was hit really hard. We're now on the decline right now. I think there'll be another spike, but I mean I don't know, but. In smaller places, you're starting to see it, actually happen in places that didn't think it was going to happen. And I'm worried that, especially as we start opening things up, you're going to see those second spikes where people, like all it takes is there being some kind of event or gathering, whether it be like a religious gathering or something like that, like a graduation or something, where suddenly 50 people get infected, and out of those 50, 5 die. Well, that's terrible. And
no, absolutely, man. And I hope you're wrong.
I do too.
So we're on to the big shakeups, the May update. What have you guys seen? Have your clients been affected by this? In our case, I don't know. I guess it hasn't affected the niche that we're in as much. Yeah. So I saw big things like from, I don't know if you guys are part of all these like Facebook groups for SEO and like, obviously the LinkedIn influencers and stuff like that. But I see like people are like, this is the biggest update of all time. And I'm like, I'm looking for it. I didn't see it. So I don't know. Did you guys have some of that shakeup and how?
2 big winners out of this, right? Big brands. And then there's also be news and things like that, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why, because Google has AI machine learning models and they're taking into account how our new consumer search behaviors, right?
Yeah.
How we're consuming content, how we search for things. 2 months ago, we weren't looking for indoor trampolines. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wasn't looking for that for my 2-year-old, but now I am.
Right.
You know what I mean? So really, I kind of compare it to the pandemic. Really, it's like when it first happened, you have to assess how it affects you personally, and then you create a strategy around it, right? So what is my customer looking for, and how can I create content or better serve them? And I think as long as you keep to those core principles, it's the same thing, right? So
and I think they were saying that there's some big shakeups on local search and maps. There a lot of medical sites got positively affected by it, especially like reputable ones.
Yeah.
Whenever these happen, I see it happen a lot where like, the brand and the bigger sites kind of get a win.
Yes.
Because there is trash on the internet, right?
Of course.
There is a lot of like bad websites that publish shit information. So Google's like, fuck you, you go down. These people that are reputable get up, and then the sites around them that they're linking to also get a boost. And then like, it's so funny because they say this every single time one of these updates happens, but thin content is losing. Oh God, thin content is losing. Okay. It's not unusual. They say that every single update, but it's so funny because literally every site I looked at about this topic said that thin content. So don't have thin content, but that's literally the same thing that they say every single time.
Exactly.
It's funny though, because, I like to believe, or at least I assume, that the algorithm is driven by what's happening in the world, right?
Yeah.
So like Jarrett had mentioned, it's very likely a byproduct of how search has changed during all of this.
Mm-hmm.
One of the big winners, 2 of the big winners actually, were the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store.
Mm-hmm.
And probably because a lot more people are home on their phones.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are trying to keep their children entertained and probably downloading all kinds of new apps. So you see that there. But I you know, and I'll reference, you know, Mike King and I pull ranks kind of philosophy because I'm familiar with it, is when a big algorithm change happens, you don't just try and react to it. You have to sit back and see, you know, okay. Because a lot of people jump up and start creating analysis. And I think that first kind of hours or days, while it's interesting to have something to read about, there's no real legs in any of that because number one, you don't have enough of a sample set. You don't have enough time gone by. You can't look at historical trends. And you also, you know, numbers can tell different stories based on how you want to slice and dice it. So
this is so funny because that's literally like it takes a while to analyze this is literally like my next bullet point. So I love that. So I won't re-say what you said, but I agree. So.
Yeah. Well, that's it. So, you know, like I think people want, especially SEOs, want content to read, and they want content about the you know, oh, this is the biggest update since Florida 2. Yeah, I guess every update is the biggest since Florida 2. You know, EAT is the biggest one.
And if you get hit by it, then you want to read something. Yeah, that's when people really get desperate for content about this stuff. Because I have been hit by one of these before, and like you just look at every article that comes out because you're like, dude, I'm trying to figure out what happened here.
And it's an exercise in confirmation bias, but it doesn't matter when you're in the moment. You're like, is there not anything on Google about how Google is fucking up Google for everyone at Google who's trying to get on Google? It's like,
I love that.
I heard you like Google, so I Googled Google so you can be, you know.
When it is time, let's say in the next 2-3 weeks, a month passes by and it is time to look, I have some like ways to think about this and ways to analyze it for people who, if they do get hit, let's say you've been doing everything right in your estimation, but you get hit by this, you look at month over month, or let's say in 3 weeks, 2 months ago, and you compare the same day of the week, which is hard right now with Corona because other stuff is going on that affects traffic. It's not just algorithm updates, but you look at that, you look at what pages lost out, and you try to parse out with your, you know, humanity about what, if it might not be related to the algorithm update, it might be related to Corona search intent and different mood.
Exactly.
Or it could be related to maybe the SEO team had to get furloughed or fired because, you know, like because of the update, right? Like
that's
true. So many factors, especially now. It makes the algorithm update that much more undigestible.
Yeah, it's super annoying that they did this in the middle of all this.
Yeah, right. I know. I mean,
but if you do identify how it might represent those shifts, and you like, it's really important to be human about this and understand how it might play into some of those other factors. But you can apply what you learn. I feel like I learn more from losers in a lot of ways. Like I learn more from what lost out in these shifts. Like if there's 3 pages that got hit really hard, I can kind of see what they're doing wrong. Like I was using an example of like, if there's these 3 losers had like 20 images on them and the rest of the pages didn't. Let's say your top 10, you got 3 pages that lost, they have 20 images on them and the other ones only have 2. Like that's probably unlikely because I think Google loves images, but
like alt text,
you start to apply that, right? What's that?
Yeah, they like their alt text on those images.
I love that alt text, dude. That's how I won. Like 10 years ago when I optimized my first blog post or whatever, the way I won was just, I did all the alt text and I named my images with the dash between them with 20 keywords, and Google was like, and like everyone thinks Google's so smart and Google's like, yum, 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 yum. I love that alt text. I love those named images. So I still do that to this day. I name them with the dash. I get all into the keywords.
Yeah. And then you hit up Twitter and John Moo's like, oh, it's not really a ranking factor. You're like, oh my God.
No, we don't even use that. Yes, I love. It's so funny because I had John
websites or index them actually.
Yeah, like they say, I love these guys. They're fine. They have their best. They have their best interests in mind, not yours. And they say a lot of things. They say a lot of things.
And that's not to trash on John Moon.
No, I am not saying that. Please do not think I'm saying that.
No. But he's the one that everyone looks to, and I think it's almost like he's got the secrets, and he's
Yeah.
like, how do I tell people to just stop worrying about that? Like,
Yeah.
without giving them too much real useful information.
That's basically it. There's just, they say the same things. It sounds like somebody, to be honest, okay, he's never going to listen to this. It sounds like somebody who doesn't even know that much talking to me when I listen to an hour of that. That's really mean to say, but it literally sounds like he doesn't even know what's happening on the algorithm, because I feel like I know how to, after I listen to him, I feel like I could optimize a page better than him. If he applied what he said, I've done the tests. I've tested shit.
You know what?
100 times.
I will.
Yeah.
I can sound like the top SEO in the world right now if you ask me what to do in face of this this new algorithm update.
Let's do it.
I just would say, all right, you really got to focus on great content.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And create in-depth, comprehensive content from subject matter experts, and then those items will earn links naturally without any extra manipulation of the SERP. Yes.
Now, do I write my content as if the end user is a bowl of carrots, or does it have to be written for people?
We're going to do it for humans.
Oh, you have to write it for humans too?
Dude.
See, I should be writing this down. I need.
Yes, exactly. I love that. So, okay, guys, like I said, it's a short podcast. So post-pandemic, what do you think the rethink is here? Like I said, I try to be optimistic. I try to imagine we're going to slowly taper off. I see some data indicating that, but I might be wrong. Yeah. If there is some taper off, we go down, and let's say 3 months from now, we've got a very flattened curve and people are coming out of this. Or just think about it the beginning of 2021. What has changed? I like making predictions.
Yeah. I think what has changed is, unfortunately, the expectations of the economy. I think there's going to be a lot more top of funnel content, way more. And I think, I hope that people are going to come out of this thinking less about business and thinking more about how they can make the world a better place.
I think I see some indications of that.
I hope that's what happens, because you know what? If you don't have a business that's tenable in the new reality, what else are you going to do? We'll say you got to start all over. Hopefully, when people start all over, they start all over with a passion and concentrate on something that they can really do to help make the world better. I hope that's what happens.
Yeah.
I think more so I don't even want to say pivot, because I hate that goddamn word now. But adjust, right? It's all about how you adjust. You know your customers better than anybody, right? And right now there's so much growth opportunity because every market and every segment is changing. So it's really, not without shifting your entire business, knowing who your customers are, looking at different keywords, right, that you could be attacking and maybe conquesting, right? In terms of content, like Lee said, all top funnel content, you teach them how to fish and they'll learn you sell fishing poles, right? So just inform them, right? Do a lot of DIY content. If you're selling lamps, right? How does your lamp look in this space? If you do X, Y, and Z, instead of talking about office furniture, you're talking about your home furniture, right? About your new office, dealing with the new normal, right? How to be effective in that space. So you come up with content like that, right? So that's really just adjusting. If you're sending the same old marketing messages, you're being insensitive, you're not empathetic, you're just going to fall flat. Unfortunately. And that's just really what a big thing is. So hopefully post-pandemic, we do go back to normal. Everything should be digital. You should be thinking e-com first, right? How do you build your digital presence? How do you build your brand personally? All those things are huge factors. If you didn't have those things now, you're fighting a huge, climbing up a huge hill.
Yeah.
No, for real. And so we talked to a lot of roofers because we have roofing clients and stuff like that. And they were all door knocking before this. And so if you're physical only on your biz dev side, like I think there's a weakness in that. And I need my systems in place for getting leads without physical stuff, right? Like I need to be able to do that's some obvious stuff with the video consultation and stuff like that, but people didn't have it in place. So, and there will be an opportunity for people to continue some of that. The ECOMS wins, like, I think wasn't it like 80% up or something? E-commerce sales, 80% up. Retail took a massive shit. And then, but like I'd say 30 to 50% of those, this is I like making guesses, right? 30 to 50% of those people stick with the new options that they found. If they were getting groceries from Walmart, like they stick with that maybe because like they stick with the online ordering because of the ease of use. And a lot of people just discovered all that. I think they stay there.
But even, I think the one word, like even thinking about that before, so thinking about the roofer who's just getting digital now, like why weren't digital 2010, 2015, right? Because there's one word about that, is scale, right? If you could scale it, then that's more revenue, more leads, more everything. So why are you knocking on doors and then you're not even getting data to know more about your customer? You just know this dude wasn't home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like,
exactly.
You should be thinking digital, any business right now, right? Everybody's on the
absolutely.
Either just scale. You think about scale, you need more business opportunities, more leads, more everything. It's going to be super hard to do anything physical.
Yeah.
So we should have that mindset 5 years ago, but now it's really like the flashlight is on you and it's like do or die time. You know, survival mode for some of those businesses.
Which is scary as a marketing agency sometimes to feel the urgency that hard with people. It is scary because we feel it off our clients a little bit. And the ones that have been doing this for 3 years, obviously have just this giant advantage. And the ones that started 6 months ago, it's like, guys, this is patient. Like SEO, we're SEO focused. Like it's patience, and SEO is a long game, but it's like the urgency is smacking them in the head. So it's tough.
Yeah, if you think about the types of clients that you said you deal with, a lot of contractors and things like that, roofers, you know, and they do a lot of IPP or in-person prospecting. And if you don't have that anymore, well, what do you do? Well, there's so many different factors to consider. How do you pivot into that new reality, right? Like, are you doing direct response? Are you sending mailers to people? Yeah. If you're sending mailers to people, is the post office going to be bankrupt in 6 months? Like, what's going to happen, right? Like, it's tough, man. So if you don't have your local business or my business pages optimized, if you don't have
that's big right now too.
SEO happening, huge.
The GMB, man, Google My Business, like you can do a lot with that. You can make that thing. You can steroid out your Google My Business. That is a place where I think I see a lot more opportunity for us as SEOs to get better with, and I'm trying to learn more and more about that.
Yeah.
I want to talk about a quote I saw from Steve Toth on LinkedIn today. Steve Toth, SEO guy, awesome dude. He said a lot of people think SEO is getting harder because how much that Google has advanced, when really there are two main reasons. So people think Google is getting really, really, really smart, but there are two main reasons: an increasingly cluttered SERP and lower click-through rates, and the fact that more and more people are producing amazing content, especially on established sites. He says the moral is to build links, or you will have no chance 1 to 2 years from now. I think that this is an important point because traffic is harder to get. We've produced twice as much content in the past year and a half, but we have like 20% more traffic. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, why is that? Because the competition is fierce and there's a lot of clutter on these goddamn search engine results pages. All the ads, the local services, there's the map, there's the schema, what is it? The feature box, there's the all the craziness that really pushes the main search results down half page. And this is because Google doesn't have your best interest in mind. They have their own money
it's an
interest.
organic sandwich now. It's like paid, organic, paid.
Yeah. And that sandwich meat is getting smaller and the bread is getting huge.
Yeah. It's like that what's that fake meat that's real popular right now?
Spam?
Spam?
That's real meat.
Oh.
No, it said like that that something
Beyond Burgers?
Beyond, that Beyond meat. It's like they're giving you beyond organic results right now, but it's like you can taste it, like it's a little gritty. That's not real meat. That's not real organic results.
And they're always riding that line. Google's always riding that line because they don't want you to use a different search engine, so they're trying to keep people on there.
Right.
And they're I mean, think about it. They're featured boxes and their other features, those are making the experience better on the search engine results page. Like they are making it better there. I'm just starting to promote myself inside those things. I'm like, okay, so you're not going to send me any traffic. You're just going to give the answer. I'm just going to put my phone number in there then.
Yeah.
Or the FAQ
Yeah.
box. I just throw my phone number in the FAQ schema. It's like, all right.
You serious?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right.
That's dope.
Do it.
Yeah, you can do the FAQ schema. I mean, I'll be real, dude. I'm so happy with this. I haven't rolled this out to clients yet, but we figured out how to scale that out on WordPress, where you've got the schema, just the FAQ schema for every FAQ that we put out there on our service pages and our niche pages and our location pages and all that. It automatically applies the schema. Before we were doing it per page and using like Matthew Woodward's like generator, and now we're just rolling it out, and so it just automatically pops in there. So nice, because we have so many landing pages on our site, and we're pretty landing page heavy for our clients because I like that high intent stuff. You know what I mean? Like this, and we're so service oriented that like landing pages for niches and cities, like roofers, like doing the 5 cities around them and stuff like that has been effective in those industries. So
interesting.
But yeah, you can throw a lot in those things. You can answer all of their objections and then give your phone number at the end, and they haven't even gotten to your website yet.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting, man.
I feel like if I was, I'm not going to lie. I think sometimes like we do competitive shit that like, sometimes I'm like, I know other SEOs look at it and they're like, dude, what the fuck? These guys are like just hitting it over the head. Like they're going so hard that like, they're kind of like borderline spammy. And all I think of, I've got this like North Star of our client's survival and success that I don't care. I don't care what they think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
As long as we're being ethical, and as long as and I'm not saying ethical as in like Google's algorithm ethical. I'm talking like ethical, like, you know, people do that thing where they'll like inject links into somebody's website. Like as long as we're not doing that, I feel good about it.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not doing black hat stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways, I went off on a tangent there, but post-pandemic stuff, we got the May algorithm update. I really appreciate you guys sharing some of your experience in New York. I'll definitely keep some of that on there, but I might trim it back a little bit just because half an hour. But what can people do to check you guys out online? How can they find you?
Yep. So, and you could connect with me on LinkedIn, Jarrett Thomas, or you could go to the iPullRank.com site. I'm also doing a lot of content there. We're doing stuff like atomic SEO, which it's kind of similar to this. We're doing a webinar, bringing data. We just did something that's similar to this, that shows the consumer behaviors of emerging growth markets and stuff like that. So if you want the ebook, go to the website. We're also doing Rankable, which is cool stuff like this. You know, would love to get you on there, Tim. I got to get you on there one day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. So I'm doing stuff like that. So come to the iPullRank.com site, hit me up on LinkedIn, Jarrett Thomas, DM me, whatever, man. I'm super accessible.
Absolutely, man. Lee?
Yeah, same. So Lee Gaul on LinkedIn and Lee Gaul on Twitter.
Gaul on the last name.
Gaul. That's
First
right.
name's easy.
So, yep, Lee Gaul, like Paul with a G. And on Twitter, I'm not talking business. I'm talking trash. I'm pretty funny on there. And then, if you're interested in talking to me a little bit more about what we talked about today, or interested in being a part of a podcast, hit me up, let me know. Yeah. Of course, I'm still going to remain making content with my main man, JT. Man. And stay tuned for all that stuff. And if you Google me, I own the name Lee Gaul. So
man, I'm so jealous.
Nobody else can compete. Nobody else can compete with me.
I'm so jealous, dude. Unfortunately, I got the namesake of a Raider.
Yeah.
Badass football player. So, but yeah, I really appreciate you guys coming on. And as far as the listeners go, thank you so much for listening. It's It's podcast put on by Hook Agency, hookagency.com, Hook Agency all over social. And join us next week. And talk to you later.